How you doing, brother?
Good.
Good to be back.
Good to be here. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Changed a lot. It's gotten bigger.
Yeah, it's about 20.
Put up cell phones now. Why? Put the fucking cell phones down.
We'll take a picture with you later.
Thank you and good night. No.
So, I run into you last night at the Battery, and you're exhausted. You just took a cross-country flight. You beat my Knicks the night before. And what are you doing? Thanks for that. You're hanging out with some entrepreneurs with a new company that you're investing in. You have been at this since the 90s, and you still got the hustle to go meet with entrepreneurs and invest in them. Why are you so addicted to this? What is it about you that makes you want to just keep investing and working with young entrepreneurs?
I'm just competitive, and I like being involved in businesses where you're kicking ass. You know, once you have those competitive juices flowing, as you know, you just want to keep on competing, and that's what I like to do. And I liked the concept that I was always the youngest. The youngest doing this, the youngest doing that, the first to do this, the first to do that, and I don't qualify for that anymore. But all these young everythings that come out here that are super smart, I'd love to compete with them, and I want to, stay ahead and show that I can compete with the youngest, the smartest, the best of them, and it doesn't always work, and every now and then I get my ass kicked, but I still get to kick a few asses along the way, and I like it.
Yeah, and you're still super active, coming up with your own ideas, building your own companies, and investing in them. What excites you today when you look out at how the market has changed? In 1995, when I began doing AudioNet, you could barely keep a server up and running, not you, just any of us.
Anybody, yeah.
And the audio quality on the internet and the speed was terrible. Now we live in a completely different world. How has the opportunity changed?
Well, obviously to start a company costs nothing. Back then you had to raise a lot of capital to have all your servers, to source them, connect them, put them online, program them, maintain them, and it was expensive. Yeah, now you have a laptop or a tablet or a phone, broadband, wherever the source, and AWS or Azure, whatever, and you're in business. And so it allows people to get to market, and the iterations happen a whole lot faster. And so that enables me to go out and look for unique things. And I think kind of the whole Snapchat, the ephemeral approach to life, the zero footprint of life is something that's going to drive life in a lot of ways. I think personalized medicine is a big deal, and I've been on personalized medicine for the last 3 or 4 years in sensors. I think up until now, the last, how old is Google, 10 years? So the last 9 years, 8.5 years, we've lived in a world where you put in data to get out data, right? If you wanted to find out about something, you went to Google or some search engine or some source, and you put data in and you learn from what came back. Now, all that data is stale, and I think we're coming to a scenario where rather than us having to know and put in and what's smart to get a response back that we hope is smart, there's sensors that are tracking things and then giving us information. Fitbit's a simple example, right? Here's your heart rate, here's what's going on, here's how long you traveled, as opposed to, okay, I'm going to bring up a map and try to configure. So sensors, personalized medicine, ephemeral living, those are the 3 things.
Well, now, let's talk about ephemeral living. What does that exactly mean? I know you have a new app that we were chatting back and forth with last night. So tell us about that and just ephemeral living in general.
From my personal, put aside Snapchat, right? My personal experience is I had to fight the government for 8 years, and prior to me kicking their ass, I learned a lesson, and you learn this from various lawsuits too, when people are doing discovery and it gets presented. So they come in, they look at all your shit, right? Here's all your emails, here's your text, whatever they can find. And you say, this is what I was thinking, and here's the context of the email. Well, it's an adversarial world, where the lawyer is there from an adversarial position. You've been in lawsuits before,
yep.
And they don't agree with your context. They tell you what they think their context is, and you can't win, right? I'll give you an email and I say, look, I sent it to this compliance department for the SEC, they approved it, and the SEC says, no, that was just a head fake. You were trying to cover your tracks. You knew that it wasn't right. I'm like, no, that's a lie, but they don't care. They're out to win. And so, because that's what's happened in this world, and because you can't have context to whatever you put in an email or a text, if it's ever discovered or it's ever presented, then I've started going, in a much more of a zero footprint direction. It's not that I delete every email, but I delete a lot of my emails now. And when I text, I don't use the traditional texting, SMS to business people in a lot of cases. I use this app we had created right now. It's on iOS called Cyberdust, right? 2 words, CYBER space dust. And the whole point is, if I want to talk about a company, I got sued by these idiots that said that I stole their idea for a mixed martial arts thing that we put on Access TV. And they sued me on it.
Right.
We did discovery, and our lawyers talked to them. They said, no, it's all bullshit. We know that it's all bullshit. We lied about the whole thing, but you're still going to have to settle with us because your insurance company won't settle.
Right.
I'm like, are you shitting me? Right?
Right.
And so it's just stuff like that happened. I got sued because someone said there's a sex tape between me, Khloe Kardashian, and Kim Kardashian, and some random dude. Right? I'm like, I wish I saw that. I'm like, I didn't even get any of the good shit out of that, right? And so now it's like, if I want to talk about a person, a business, or anything that I think could be misconstrued in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to do it on Cyberdust. And so, there's a lot of famous people using the app. There's a lot of, government people using the app, and it's kind of just grown organically because I think now we're gearing towards, because there's a digital footprint for everything, and because we've created our own little playbook of our lives on Facebook, through our emails, through our texts, and through everything, it's hard to have context that's right. And I think young kids are getting it more than we are with Snapchat and other things, but I think all of us are going to figure out in the long run that as much as we'd like to keep a lot of things because it's cool and it's interesting to go back, you can't, particularly in a business environment.
You're just exposing yourself a little too much.
Because it's an unlimited number of problems. You can be sued for anything.
Right.
And the minute something's discoverable and it's discovered, you have no control of it. You have no control over the context. And I'd rather recreate my digital life so it's more like a conversation like this, right? We could have this conversation via email, but since it's live, the context, it's just gone, right? There's no recording.
And speaking of which, there was some story on TechCrunch of a founder you backed who jumped the fence, went off the reservation, and something bad happened.
Yeah.
What exactly happened there, and where is it at? What can you say?
It's a company called Motion Loft, which I love. It's a sensor-based company.
Motion Loft.
Motion Loft.
What do they do?
They do real-time counting. So you put a sensor on the outside of a building, say in New York, San Francisco, wherever, and it just counts people, cars, and bikes in real time. And so the information isn't valuable. Let's say it's a billboard, you want to know the actual number of cars. You want to know is traffic increasing or decreasing, or what, Macy's wants to know. Well, CVS wants to know, should I open up a new CVS on this corner or that corner? Which has the most traffic? Which has the most foot traffic? Another example, one of our customers put scaffolding up on their building in New York, right? And all of a sudden they said, your numbers are wrong. Our foot traffic in front of our retail stores has dropped 70%. There's no way. And when that's right, and it must be because of the scaffolding. That's the only thing that's changed. They took the scaffolding off, traffic went back up. They had no idea people would be that afraid of scaffolding and won't walk under scaffolding, right? So these guys count in real time. They're really cool sensors, and they're adding new features, weather, and all that. But
so it's not using, we had a company here called Density, was using MAC addresses on phones.
No, because that's only a 20 to 30% reality. You're only getting 20 to 30% capture on that, right? And
Wi-Fi has to be turned on.
Wi-Fi has to be turned on. The phone has to be the right. We just count everything in real time, right? And we're able to. It's machine vision. So we take video, we capture a snapshot, and we actually create an outline of it and use all these machine vision principles. And it's super high-tech stuff. It's not just. And then we're able to so you have a group of people. You have to be able to count the number of people in the group. You have to be able to, did these people go from this frame over here, and is it the same person that went over here? So it's cool concept. Yeah, it's advanced stuff and it works. But this guy, great idea, and you know me, the way I work is I get email reports every week, right? Yep. I thought business was going great. I got him to install the sensors at several of my different retail companies, some of my friends' companies, and the shopping center business worked great. The product worked great. Only the reports he was sending me were all bullshit. And he was taking money out, and I can't really go into a whole lot of detail because the authorities are involved, but just, he was using things in ways he shouldn't have been using things. We finally figured it out, and now he's no longer involved with the company. I got back involved with the company, took back control of it, and now they did more in revenue this past month than they did the previous year.
Right. So you invest in a couple of dozen companies a year, a dozen companies a year?
Well, it depends. Shark Tank is a lot more than that.
Right.
And The rest of the world, probably 20.
Yeah. And so it's hard to keep track of all these things, but as anybody who's been in business with you knows, you respond on email sometimes in minutes. I mean, you and I have had 30 back and forths and, overnight, whatever, you're on a plane, I'm over here, and you're really into discussing it and hashing out stuff like that. How do you keep up with this incredible influence?
Just by doing it that way. I mean, I can be anywhere, anytime, and I just try to learn as much as I can. And, I used to keep all those emails. I don't anymore, and it gave me a reference.